Hello dear students, my name is Ankit. Today we will learning about lesson number 3 of supplementary reading, Ishwaran the Storyteller. This is about the 9th standard supplementary reader. I welcome you all from the Jai Somnath English Medium School. So let's start with the lesson. Lesson 3, supplementary reading, Ishwaran the Storyteller. Now the story was narrated by Ganesha by a young man, Mahendra by the name. So Mahendra is telling the Ganesh the story. He was a junior. Now who was a junior supervisor? Mahendra. Mahendra was a junior supervisor in the firm which offered on hiring supervisors at various types of construction site, bridges, dams. Okay. Suppose the dams are built, the chemical factories or the mechanical factories, those who are producing the mechanical machines. So before they are run in the full throttle, okay, so when the construction work is going on the new site, this Mahendra was deployed there and his work was to see how the workers are working, whether the working at the construction site is smooth or not. Mahendra's job was to keep an eye on the activities at the work site. So naturally, he was a junior supervisor, and wherever the construction work, either it is a railway bridge, dams or factories or any construction happened, he has to keep and watch on that. If at all any problem is occurring, so or the working is not going on, so he has to see that the workflow is going in the peaceful manner. He had to keep moving from one place to another every now and then. Now naturally he was a person who was deployed at a construction site. So wherever his company told him to go, he has to be ready for that. He has to take all his belongings and to shift at any point of time. Then he, as ordered by his head office, so as his head office ordered him, he has to go. From a coal mining area to the railway bridge construction site, from the coal mining area means where we get the coal, to the railway bridge construction or any construction, he has to go from every now and then. From there a few months to the chemical plant. Suppose the factory, some person is making a chemical factory, is going to produce the chemicals in that factory. So if the construction of that chemical factory is given to the company of Mahindra, so he has to shift there also, unless and until the construction of the whole chemical factory is done. He was a bachelor. Mahendra was a bachelor. That means he was not married yet. His needs were simple. Naturally, the married person do not have much of the needs. They are quite simple. 2 times food, good clothes, okay, and he can work very hard till he wants. His needs were very simple and he was able to adjust to all kinds of odd conditions. He was very adjustable and he need to be got adjustable, because at the construction site, you know, there is many hassle, okay, and you do not get the comfortable living as you are living right now. Moreover, whether it was an ill-equipped circuit house or makeshift of the canvas stand in the middle of the stone quarry, either it was a circuit house, we do not have lights, fans, okay, or it was not properly constructed, or it was or to the tent area, which it to the tent area, canvas tent, which was built in the middle of the construction area. But one asset, he was his cook Ishwaran. But one asset, that means one precious belonging of Mahindra was his cook Ishwaran. The cook was quite attached to Mahindra and followed him uncomplainingly wherever he posted. The cook never complained that why are you taking me to this side, why are you taking me to that side, again and again you are changing your residential, why are you doing this? He never complained. Who? The cook, Ishwaran. He cooked for Mahendra, washed his clothes and chatted away with his master at night. So he was filling the void place of the television. Ishwaran was filling the void place of the television by chatting with his master in the night, cooking for him, for whom? Mahindra, and also washing his clothes. He could weave out the endless story and anecdotes on various subjects. So he could talk, he could speak up on any of the topics, and he could make the stories, and he was a very good storyteller. Some people, they do have this, what we can say, they do have this habit, or their makeshift is such that they can tell the story in a different manner, and even if they are talking false also, we can see that they are making the story out of nothing. Ishwaran also had an amazing capacity to produce vegetables and cooking ingredients seemingly out of nowhere. So Ishwaran was such a person who could cook the food in a very nice manner, and he could produce the vegetables and ingredients of the food which are required to make the food from nowhere. In the middle of the desolate landscape with no shops visible, so he can produce the vegetables and cooking ingredients in those places where the human habitat was very less, or we have to travel a very long to see the human habitat. Now this construction site of the chemical factories and big factories are away from the city, so we are not able to see the human habitat very quickly. Okay, they are away from the cities. He would miraculously conjure up the most delicious dishes made of the fresh vegetables within arriving at the zinc sheet shelter at the new place. So within no time he can cook the food, make himself adjust of any of the condition in which the Mahindra was living, because Mahindra was a supervisor and he has to go from one place to another, and it was ordered by his head office. So Ishwaran accompanied with Mahindra, and if at all he did not have the ingredients, he will still be able to make the very delicious dishes, okay, at any point of time. Mahindra would be early in the morning, leave early for the work after breakfast, carrying some prepared food with him. So Mahindra got up in the morning, he has to leave for the work naturally. He had his breakfast and he took the tiffin. We can say that he took the prepared food for his lunch. Meanwhile, Ishwaran would tidy up the shed, wash the clothes, and have the leisurely bath, pouring several buckets of water over his head, muttering a prayer all the while. So what Ishwaran did, Ishwaran used to clean up the shed or the area where they lived. Moreover, then he tidied the shed, washed the clothes of Mahindra and he took the leisurely bath, where he took the several buckets of the water and chant a prayer, okay, while bathing. When it was a lunchtime, he had his lunch. He would read for a while before dozing off. So he would read the book for a while, and he took his afternoon sleep. He would take his afternoon sleep. The book was usually some popular Tamil thriller running to the hundreds of pages. So he was reading what? He was reading the popular Tamil thriller running to the hundreds of pages. Its imaginative description and narrative flourishes would hold Ishwaran in thrall. So, thrall means what? The state of being in someone's power. So, Ishwaran would be carried away. Okay, he would imagine himself in that story. He would carried away in the reading of the story and imagine himself in that point of the story, that imaginative description, the climax of the story. So, Ishwaran would be very excited for reading this story and imagine himself in that story. In his own description were greatly influenced by the Tamil authors that he read. When he would chat with his master Mahindra, what he did, he used to act upon these thrillers, say upon these thrillers, and in his story also he poured the description or the work which was of the great Tamil authors. When he was narrating even the small incidents, he would try to work in a suspense and a surprise ending into the account. He would never tell the story in a straight manner. He would build up the story, build up the climax, and he would give a very spicy end to the story. Someone has the quality of telling the story in a very lucrative manner, in the manner which everybody can understand and enjoy. But as I came closer, what happened is that Instead of saying that he has come across the uprooted tree on the highway, he would say that eyebrows suitably arched and hands held out in a dramatic gesture. He said, now he would show, suppose he want to tell, for example, the tree fell on a highway. So what he tell? Oh, I was walking on the deserted road. The sound I heard, but when I came near it, I saw in the dark that it was a tree that had fallen down in the middle of the road. So such was the handling gesture Ishwaran used to do, and he used to build up the story. He never tell the story in a very simple manner. I was half inclined to turn back, but as I came closer, as it was a fallen tree with the dry branches spread out. So he used to never tell that there was a tree fallen on the road. He used to tell that I was going there, but suddenly I turned back. But what happened? When I went near to it, I saw a tree with the dry branches. I was going to do something. So he would make up to the story. Mahendra would scratch himself back in his canvas chair and listen to the Ishwaran tales uncritically. Now Mahendra was having all kind of interests because his cook Ishwaran used to tell the story in such a lucrative manner that he used to put all his heart in storytelling, that Mahendra would always focus on the story of Ishwaran. The place I come from, now he is telling a story. Who? Ishwaran is telling the story to Mahendra. The place I come from is famous for timber from which we get the wood. Ishwaran would begin. There is a richly wooded forest all around. The logs are hauled on the lorries. Lorries means trucks by the elephant. There are huge well-fed beasts. When they turn wild, even the most experienced Mahavat means the person, those who take care of the elephant, those who ride the elephant, okay, and those who teach the elephant the different techniques. After this prologue, Ishwaran would launch into the elaborate and decode the involving of the, now he is telling the story of the elephant. So he has built up this story and now he is beginning to tell the story. He told that he come from the place where the forests were there and the logs of the wood were put on the lorries, that means on the trucks by the elephant. Okay, and he also tells that when this wild beast, the elephant, turns wild, it becomes very difficult for the experienced Mahavat to control it. It becomes a very dangerous situation. One day, a tusker escaped from the timber yard. Now what is tusker? Elephant. And began to roam, stamping all the bushes, tearing up wild creepers, breaking branches at his will. So what happened? One such incident happened that the elephant went away from the timber yard and he was very angry. He began to stamper, that means he used to destroy the bushes, tearing up the wild creepers, breaking the branches and destroying everything that was coming in his way. You know, sir, how an elephant behaves when he got mad. So Ishwaran is telling to Mahendra, sir, you know how the elephant becomes wild if he turns mad. Ishwaran would get up, so caught up in the excitement of his story that he would get up from the floor and jump and stamp his foot at the humiliation of the man. He used to do the same act as the mad elephant, because he was so poured into that story that he forgot that he was just a storyteller. He would act as an elephant who has gone mad. He would act as an elephant who had gone mad. The elephant reached outskirts of the town, breaking the fences down like a matchstick. So the elephant reached where he stamped the fence down like a matchstick, breaking the matchstick. That means like we break the matchstick, the elephant broke the fences and he went into the town. It came into the main road and smashed all the stalls selling fruits, mud pots and clothes. So he came into the bazaar, okay, and there stalls were there, small shops were there of the pots, clothes. He smashed, that means he destroyed all of them. People ran helter-skelter. Helter-skelter means here and there. Moreover, in the panic, they were afraid. Naturally, if we see the mad elephant running before us, then we will be also be afraid. The elephant now entered a school ground where children were playing, breaking through the brick wall. All the children ran into the classrooms and shut the door tight. Now he broke the school wall and he ran into the ground where the children were playing during the break time. Okay, so he destroyed the volleyball net. He also took down the branches of the tree. Watching this mad beast, everybody ran into the classroom. The teachers went on the upper side of the building of the school and they shut the door quite tightly. Moreover, the beast grunted and wanted. The elephant made his sound and he went here and there. He pulled out the football goalpost, tearing down the volleyball net, flattering the drums kept for the water and uprooting the shrubs. So the drums which were kept for the water, he made the drums made fall and all the water was gone. And he also uprooted the volleyball net and the goalpost which was made for the football. Moreover, all the teachers had climbed up the terrace of the building. The teacher has climbed up the terrace of the building. From there, they helplessly watched because they were also helpless watching this wild beast. If they go in front of them and if the beast is very angry, it might crush anyone. The streets were empty as if the inhabitants of the entire town has been disappeared. That means if at all it was a lockdown, the total lockdown in the town. Now we know what is the meaning of the lockdown. We had this from 3-4 months. We were in the total lockdown. So, in this situation also, the street was empty and inhabitants did not came out as if it was a deserted place, as if it was a place where no one lived. Moreover, I was studying in the junior class at the time and was watching the whole drama from the rooftop. Now this I am is Ishwaran. Ishwaran is telling that I was studying in the junior class at that time and I was watching all kind of a drama from the rooftop. I don't know what came over me suddenly. I grabbed a cane. Cane means lakdi. I grabbed the cane from the hands of one of my teachers and ran down the stairs in the open. The elephant grunted menacingly and swung a branch of a tree which it held in the trunk. So what about the elephant, what it did, it had the branch of the tree in his trunk and making the sound, he threw that in front of Ishwaran. People were watching the scene, hypnotized from the nearby housetops. Everybody's eyes was tingled on that scene. Nobody was moving their eyeballs here and there. Everybody was watching what will be the next step. The elephant looked at me red-eyed. It lifted its trunk, trumpeted loudly. At that moment, I moved forward, mustering my all force. So Ishwaran is telling that at that time, when the elephant was going to attack me with his red eye and he was getting ready to attack me, what I did, I took a cane and with the all force, third toenail on the quick. He said that I beat on the elephant's third nail of the toe. Third nail of the toe. The beast looked stunned for a moment, then he shivered the head and he collapsed. Oh, so the elephant collapsed. The elephant collapsed. At this point of time, Ishwaran would leave the story unfinished. He would never finish the story at once. He used to take up the story afterwards and again he used to build up the story, then he would tell the end. I will be back there after lighting the gas and warming up the dinner. So he said that I will be back and I will tell you the end of the story after I heat up the food. That means I will make the lighting the gas and warm up the dinner again. खाना गरम करके वापस आता हूँ. Mahendra, who has been listening with his rapt attention, would help hanging. Now he also had this confusion that why Ishwaran did not complete his story. When he returned, Ishwaran would never pick up the thread from where it ends, but you would build up again, then you would tell the story. Mahendra would have to remember him, the conclusion was pending. So every time Mahendra said that the conclusion was pending, what was the matter, why he did not end up that story. Well, a veterinary doctor was summoned to revive the animal. Now he is continuing his story of the elephant. So he said that a veterinary doctor, those who look after the animals, was summoned, means called, that why this animal was not getting up. Who? This tusker, elephant. Ishwaran would shrug off casually. Well, 2 days later, it was led away by his Mahavat to the jungle. So after 2 days, the elephant got up and he was carried by his Mahavat in the jungle. He became quieter. Well, how did you manage to do it, Ishwaran? How did you bring that beast down? So he told that, Ishwaran, how did you do it? So Ishwaran told him that it was a Japanese art, Jijutsu, he called it. I read it somewhere. It temporarily paralyzes the nervous system. The paralysis means what? If at all the paralysis attack comes of the hands or face, the part where the paralysis had happened would not move. So it said that the nervous system, it temporarily paralyzes the nervous system and the person would be paralyzed for some moment. Not a day passed without the Ishwaran recounting some story, packed with adventure, horror and suspense. So it was very entertaining for whom? For Mahendra. Why? Because every day Ishwaran would fill the void place of the TV and would tell him the story of the suspense, adventure and horror, like a movie. Whether the story was credible or not, whether it was true or not, false or not, true or not, whatever happened, Mahendra would always enjoy the story which was told by Ishwaran. Mahendra enjoyed it because inimitable way in which it was told. You know, story is interesting, but the way it is narrated, that is also interesting. The story is interesting, but in a particular way in which it is said, it also interests the person. Moreover, Ishwaran seems to be more make up the absence of the TV in the living quarter. So Mahendra was living in the quarters. Either it was a canvas tent, either it was a makeshift of circuit house, either it was a rented house. But the most important thing was, he did not have TV, but Ishwaran would make up the place of the TV. One morning, when Mahendra was having his breakfast, Ishwaran said, "Can I make something special for dinner tonight, sir? After all, today is an auspicious day. According to the tradition, we have to prepare various delicacies to spread the spirit of our ancestors today." So he said that, can we make the special dishes for the auspicious day, which would be offered to our ancestor. Like before some time, we had this Shraddh period in Hindus, where we make the different dishes, we offer it to our ancestors, right? Like that. That night, Mahendra enjoyed the most delicious dinner and complimented Ishwaran on his culinary skills. So what Mahendra enjoyed was awesome dinner prepared by Ishwaran. And he also patted him on his culinary skill. Culinary skill means cooking skill. He seemed very pleased. Unexpectedly launched into most garish account involving the supernatural. Now this time, Ishwaran was on the supernatural. He was going to tell about the horror stories. You know, sir, he started. This factory area where we are was a burial ground. Burial ground means Kabristan. Mahendra was jugged out of his pleasant revive. He had drifted into after satisfying meal. So Mahendra was sitting very quietly and enjoying the storytelling of Ishwaran. But when Ishwaran revealed to him that the factory on which they were staying was a burial ground, Mahendra started to have the goosebumps. He started to have terrifying. He was terrified. I knew on the first day when I saw a human skull lying on the path. Even now, I come across the number of skull and bone. So Ishwaran is telling, the day we came here, I saw the human skull on the ground. Okay, and the bones were also spread. So I am sure that this place was a burial ground. He went to narrate how he sometimes saw a ghost at night. Now he's telling that, sir, I saw the ghost. मैंने भूत देखा रात को. I am not easily frightened by these stories. Things, sir. I am a brave fellow. But one horrible ghost of the woman which appears off on the midnight during the full moon. So he's telling that I am not afraid. But one day what happened? On the full moon day, I saw a ghost of the woman. It was an ugly creature, matted hair, shriveled face, skeleton holding fortunes in his arm. So she was holding the skeletal, a skull and a bone, and her face was shivered. Okay, and her nails were big. So he is building up the story of the ghost of the women. Mahendra shivered at the description and uninterrupted rather sharply. So he was terrified. Who? Mahendra. Then he interrupted me. He said, stop. You are crazy, Ishwaran. There are no such things as ghost or spirit. It's all the figment of your imagination. Get your digestive system examined. Maybe your head as well. You are talking nonsense. Yet now Mahendra is confronting Ishwaran. He is saying that go and check yourself. You are talking this nonsense. You are trying to terrify me. No such stories are at present. We are living in this modern age and we are not able to see any ghost nowadays. And it is a false story. It is a false story. Who told this? Mahendra told to the Ishwaran. He left to the room and retired for the night. So Mahendra went to his bedroom and he went to sleep, expecting Ishwaran to sulk for a couple of days, but next morning he was surprised to find the cook as cheerful and as talkative. So he thought that he spoke to Ishwaran in such a manner, then Ishwaran would never speak to him or he would be afraid because Ishwaran was telling the story of ghost. But Ishwaran did not have any other effect of that talk last night. Rather, he was very talkative and descriptive as well as cheerful as ever. From that day, in the Mahendra's head, the story of the ghost was revolving. He went to bed with a certain unease. Even though he said in front of Ishwaran that I am not afraid of ghosts and there were no ghosts, in the night when he slept, he would remember that story and he would feel that a ghost will come. Every night he peered into the darkness outside the window next to his bed, trying to make sure that there was no movement of shark shapes in the vicinity. So he was watching, his bed was near to the window. So he would climb up and see whether anybody is there or not, to make sure that if there was ghost or not. But he could only see the darkness with the twinkling lights of the factories mile away. He could see no one, but there was a twinkling lights in the factory. It was a factory area and we cannot see the human habitat more. So he would only see the lights of the factories which was mile away. He had always liked to admire the milk-white landscape on the full moon night. But after hearing Ishwaran's story, the female ghost, he avoided looking out of the window altogether when there was a full moon. Now this gave him the frightening start. And Mahendra was very afraid. First of all, at the full moon day, he used to sit for some moment, enjoy the floodlight of the full moon. But now, after the storytelling of the Ishwaran that he saw a female ghost on the full moon day, Mahendra would avoid seeing it out of the window. One night, Mahendra was woken up from his sleep by a low moan close to his window. He was woken up by a shrill voice which was close to his window. At the first, he thought that a cat was chasing down the mice. But sound was too guttural for a cat. Guttural for a cat means sound produced in the throat. So he said that this sound is quite a bit of different that of the cat. Moreover, what he did, he resisted the curiosity to look out, at least he should behold a sight where he would stop his hand. He was afraid. But what he did, he peeped out of the window. He was not having the guts to peep out of the window. Moreover, there not too far away was a dark cloudy form clutching a bundle. Okay, so there was nothing, but there was a darkness. Okay. Mahendra broke into the cold sweat and fell back onto his pillow, panting. So naturally, he was full of sweat not because there was a summer, but he was totally afraid of the ghost. He thought that a ghost is outside his window. As he gradually recovered from the ghastly experience, he began to reason with himself and finally concluded it must have been some sort of auto-suggestion and some trick that his subconscious has played with him. He thought that what we hear every now and then during the daytime, we might get dream of it when we sleep at night. Okay, if at all we are talking about something which is unpleasant, that also can come into your dream while sleeping. So here Mahendra is talking that it's all just nonsense. I was listening to all these stories of the ghost by the Ishwaran. That's why it came in front of me and I was afraid. He was trying to console himself. By the time he had to get up in the morning, had a bath and came out for his breakfast. So now it was a morning. He was all okay. He took the bath and came out for the breakfast. The horror of the previous night had faded from his memory, so he did not remember what happened. But Ishwaran greeted him at the door with the lunch packet and his bag. Just as Mahendra was stepping out, Ishwaran grinned and said, sir, remember the other day when I was telling you about the female ghost with the fortress in his arm? Okay, the arm was, the skeleton of the human was on her arms. And what happened? You were so angry on me. Imagine anything. Well, I was telling you the story, you said that it was a nonsense. Okay, and you are telling that you go and check up. Now Ishwaran is saying it in a taunting voice. To whom? To his master, Mahendra. I came, well, you saw herself your night. You saw her yourself at night. So Ishwaran is telling, sir, didn't you see her in the night? I came running, hearing the sound of morning. What you were doing? You were making the sound. And in the night, he suddenly heard something, so he got up. So Ishwaran came running to see what had happened to his master. A chill went down the Mahendra's spine. Oh, he was caught at that time. Okay, so a chill went to his spine. He did not wait for Ishwaran to complete his sentence and he hurried away to his office and handed in his paper resolving to leave the haunted place the next day. So he gave his office request papers that I want to leave this place, this is haunted. I don't want to live in this place. So in this chapter, we have seen that how Ishwaran, the storyteller, built up the story and told this story to his master. Thank you.